What's going on, y'all? This is Comms Engineering, and in this video, we're going to be going over how to make a Google script function for when you have users on your website to send you messages. All right, so to explain what Google script is, all it is as you can see here, it's just JavaScript, but in the Google Apps Script extension. It's just a text editor that Google has on its spreadsheet function. So what you want to do is go to your Google Drive. You got to have a Gmail account, so just go to your Google Drive and hit New, Google Sheets. Title this, you can say Client Messages, and you want to go over here to extensions and click on apps script and wait for it to load. And by the way, this is completely free, does not cost anything. Okay, and now you're currently in an untitled project. You can rename this to, so now we have this default function called my function. We're going to come back to this, but we need to add something in before this. Basically, we can see here that we're in sheet 1 right now. We want to call this sheet into this JavaScript code. So we're calling sheet 1 into a constant variable. Now a constant is basically a variable that does not change. So a constant is a variable that does not change throughout the entire code. And we can simply make a constant by just typing out const, and we can type it sheet name and set that equals to single quotation marks sheet 1. All right, and that is going to be a constant value that we're going to use for the entire sheet because this is our primary place that we want the messages to show up. Under that, we do another constant, script prop is equal to property service dot get script properties, basically getting we can work with the rest of this. So in the my function, we go inside and do another constant. So in the my function, we're going to be setting the ID, the identification basically for each message. So const active spreadsheet is equal to spreadsheet app dot get active spreadsheet. That is a function that Google Apps Script has available for you. But under it, we're going to do script prop. We're going to take this constant and set the property of it, property to, let's do a key. So as you can see up here, we have a key string and then a value string sets. So here's an example. The key would be nickname. They're both strings, which mean that they're just text. So the key would be like something that we have for example, a key would be a number and then a name. So the keys would be the numbers and then values would be the names. That's an example. However, for the values, we're going to get active spreadsheet.get ID. So this is setting the ID for each message. What that'll mean is you'll have, this function is going to set up the initial properties by storing active spreadsheet ID. So this function is getting the active spreadsheet and it's setting the ID of the active spreadsheet in the script properties that we have up here. So in the next function, we're going to have it handle HTTP post request. Now, this is basically like talking about the HTTP commands that are up here. This is kind of like back end work. So if we go ahead and type in function, and let's do post and then let's do E. So here we're going to retrieve the stored spreadsheet ID from the script properties. So what we want to type is we want to make another constant, do doc ID, and we'll do script prop dot get property, and we're just going to grab the key this time. And then we're going to initialize a script lock. So const lock equals to lock service dot get script lock. And now we're going to attempt to acquire the lock for about 10 seconds. So we're going to do lock.try lock, and it's going to do 10,000. This is in milliseconds, but again, this is 10 seconds. And then under that, we're going to do a try catch error. It's going to do a function. And while it's doing a function, it's going to try and catch an error and then output that error to the user. So in this, we're going to retrieve the stored spreadsheet ID again. We have to grab this, put it here again. We're going to make an if statement. If not equals doc ID, this is going to check spreadsheet even exists. We do throw error, and how we do that is just throw new error, parentheses, do tilde. This is not quotation, this is different. This is tilde. This is right under the escape key on your keyboard. Sheet, $, curly brace, name, another quotation, not found in the spreadsheet. Okay, so again, all this is saying is if it doesn't exist, throw error. Okay. Do another const doc equals to spreadsheet app dot open by ID dot ID. This is opening the spreadsheet using the retrieval ID that we have up here. And after that, reference to the sheet by name. So we make another sheet or constant called const sheet doc get by sheet name, and it's saying get by sheet name. So which constant up here and down here would be the correct constant name to put? If you guess this, that is correct. So which sheet name, we just put the name of the constant inside of the parentheses. So now we will check if the sheet exists, not the doc ID. We've already checked if the doc ID exists. This is for our if not equals to, what do I put here? So we've created a constant that opens the sheet by ID. So it's sheet. Sorry, this was supposed to be spreadsheet not ID not found in script properties. So through an error, sheet name not found in spreadsheet in the spreadsheet. So after this, we're gonna take a pause here. Let's go back to the spreadsheet that you created, and in these top cells right here, we're gonna put the first name, last name, email, all the parameters that we made in the contact.html. So as you can see here in the form box, we have first name, last name, email, mobile, message. That is gonna go here. So start off by listing each parameter. So first name, last name. And let's make sure that it's the same as the one in the code. It has a capital N, so let's change it to a capital N. Email and message. Okay, so that should be it for the parameters. Now what we want to do here is in the Google script code, we want to get all of these headers and list them as a constant. So let's go back to Google script, and under the if statement, we're basically making a function to get the headers from the sheet. So again, make a const, just name it header equal to sheet dot get range, do 1, 1, 1, and we'll do sheet dot get last column. This is the range of what we just put inside of the sheet, and we're just going to get those values starting from index 0. So again, we declared and initialized a constant called headers, and we set that equals to getting the range of the sheet and then getting the values of it. Now we're going to calculate the next available row. What that means is we're going to make another constant. Next row is equals to sheet dot get last row, and we want to iterate it, and this is going to be iterating throughout the rows. I'll explain what this is going to do in the next once we're done with this script, because we still need to set up a trigger function for it. Once the new row is set, we have to construct a new row to the sheet. So again, const new row is equals to header. We're going to get the constant that we made and pretty much generating a new one, an object right here. So it's a callback function. Map is a callback function, and it accepts 3 arguments. What we're going to have here is function, the value, or for the object. We're going to do header, the index. We're going to do function and header, and all it is a return function. Return the header, 3 equal signs. Date. This is a ternary function. Whenever we see a question mark, it's called a ternary function. It's basically just a shorter if statement. You can think of it as a new date and set that to be e.parameter header. And then these 2 lines basically mean or. So it's either this or just return null. So this is going to be the new row function. And I want to do parentheses, semicolon. After that, under that, we've constructed a new row. Now we got to write the new row to the sheet. All it is sheet.new get range, next row, comma 1, comma new row dot length, and then after that, going to be set values, new row in parentheses and in brackets. Don't forget that. The right function is getting the range before it even sets the value, and once it sets the value, it's going to create a new row based on what the new row length was prior to that. So it's getting the length of the new row. So this function is getting the range of the next row, making some space, calculating the previous row length, and then setting the values for the new row. So again, getting all of the information beforehand and then setting the new information. Now everything is set to be working for the sheets, but we have to make sure it works by making it send a successful message for us. Like once you send a message, put your name, email, and all that, you wanted to have it where it's like, okay, your message has been sent. So we're going to return a success message with the inserted row number. So basically it's going to be like, so the way we do that is type out return content service. This is the function that brings the message back to the user via a different tab. And then inside of this, we're going to do create text output JSON. JSON is basically it's a JavaScript tool that transfers data as data objects, outputs it as text. It has the ability to output data objects as text. With this function right here, it's .stringify. As you know, a string in code is basically text, and an integer is just numbers. There's even arrays of both types, arrays of strings and numbers, which is basically kind of like a bundle of different types of data. So yeah, strings are basically text, integers are numbers. Then you have Boolean, Boolean, which is basically just true or false. So the message that we want to see from this success method is going to be, if this doesn't work, is result error, comma, colon, e dot message. As you know, the e was all the way up here. the do post. This is the HTTP request. As you know, I talked about it. It's this function up here. And basically that HTTP is just a transfer protocol. Protocols are ways to transfer data. It's a way for the computer to transfer data. They call it protocol. As if, think of like language. Think of English, right? English is a language, and the protocol that we use is our mouth. So the mouth protocol, I don't know. You can either use like hand protocols, which is sign language. That's kind of the gist of what protocols are. So it's going to send this through an HTTP protocol and output it as a string in the JSON. After that, we do set MIME type. As you can see here, it's the MIME type that sets the MIME type for content that will be served. The default is plain text. We're going to type content service dot MIME type dot JSON. All right, semicolon. And after that, curly brace, type finally. Get to the end here. Release, we're going to basically release the script lock after that. And just type lock dot release lock. Cool. And that should be it for the TypeScript. Now, the thing that we want to do here is make a trigger function. This is not going to work to the actual code. So what you need to do is come over to this tab right here that says triggers. And once you're here, we're going to go ahead and go down into this blue button that says add trigger. So to choose which function to run, it's going to be the do post because we're posting the information onto the spreadsheet. You can keep this as head, and the event source is going to be from spreadsheet. The event type is going to be on form submit because it's a submit button. And you can leave this as notify me daily. Save that. It's going to ask, it might ask you to sign into your Gmail. That's fine. Just do that. But essentially you'll have the trigger button. Next thing you want to do is come up to this deploy, new deployment, and the type is going to be a web app. You can name it whatever description you want. And this is very important. You want to have anyone have access to it because obviously the people that are going to be visiting your website are going to want to input their information. So just click deploy after that. And what you want, if you see right here, we have the deployment ID and then we have the web app URL. And this is going to be a URL that starts with https script.google.com. This is what we need to put inside of the HTML page. So just copy this. And in the form action, I have a placeholder that just says http script.google. ... But essentially this deployment thing, this URL right here is what we want to put inside of these quotation marks. Actions equal that. And then right after that we do method, and if you go to the drop down and hit manage deployments, you'll see you can archive. These are all archived, meaning that I don't use, they're not used anymore. Essentially web app is what you want and you just want this script URL. So yeah, that's pretty much all you need. So if we go to the website, type in a bunch of information, click send. It's actually not going to input that information because we forgot an important thing, which is, or the method tag. So going back to the Visual Studio, right after that script file or the URL ends, you want to type in method is equal to post, in all caps, save, which basically is said right up here. The form data are included in the body of the form and sent to the server. And the server in this case is literally just going to be the spreadsheet. Save that and let's try again. And there we go. All of this corresponds to this. Let's change it up again and see what we get. Hello, test, and then send. And there we go. That's the second one. In the next and final video of the walkthrough, I'm going to be showing y'all how to make the website appear onto your phone or on a mobile app. I'll see you guys in the next video.